So a quick video on setting up a turbo trainer, I suppose. So I'm not a great believer in turbo trainers. I don't think I'd rather go outside and cycle, but for recovery purposes they're quite good because you're not going to get stuck in the middle of anywhere and you're not going to fall off. So this is a cheap BD Bikes turbo trainer, which I think cost, I don't know, 40-50 quid, something like that. Bought it a while ago. This is the front wheel stand, because the ones that come with turbo trainers are usually quite shit and don't level the bike properly. So I don't know, about 18 quid a mat. Now I'm gonna hook up my big wig, but first of all it's a thru-axle, which you don't generally get as standard with turbo trainers, and it's got a very knobbly tyre. So I've got a slick 29-inch tyre, which I'll put on in a moment, and some of these Robert Axle Project axles. Now for this big wig, that's the one you need, so that should be quite easy, and it will actually a lot of the time the type of axle's printed on the axle itself. So if you take the axle out on a big wig, for example, it'll be printed. If not, then actually if you go to, and I feel quite bad for this because obviously I bought from Robert Project instead, but if you go for the Kinetic Traxel website, download this PDF and print it off, and what you can actually do is compare your axle against it and then figure out what it is. Now Kinetic didn't actually sell one for my bike, so Robert Axle did. I say it's a TRA 214 if you want the same one I've got, if you're going to use the same bike. I've also got a kit for the Marley as well, so I've got another tyre here. Anything that's like this or like that should be ideal, but if it's a knobbly tyre, that's going to be rubbish. Not sure if you can see this, maybe not. What do you think? Basically this is a 2.1 tyre. Now this is a Fortress 26 rim, so it's a 26mm internal width, and what you can't do is go for super thin tyres on mountain bike rims. So figure out what your internal diameter is, and there's some guides online as to what's and also the tyre manufacturer as well, as to how narrow you can go on in terms of the tyre you can put on. You don't go anything too thick or too wide, because it creates too much traction on the roll at that point. So this is the axle feed, so it just takes the place of the original axle, and then you put this end cap on. And the tyre I've inflated to max, which is 65 psi in this case, and I've also got Wahoo sensors, so it's the Wahoo speed sensor and crank sensor or cadence sensor, and with those sensors I'll be able to obviously monitor the miles I'm doing and speed and everything else. I can hook it up to Swift if I want. I don't like Swift. I'd rather watch TV, to be honest, whilst doing turbo training. Plus, you're never going to compete with the roadies, just because their gearing's taller. So you're always going to be slower. So yeah, I'm just going to hook this into the turbo training now. Right, all best laid plans and the rest of it. So what I found is this didn't close up wide enough for the back end. So last time I used this was with a 135 QR, trying to use it with a 148 through, and yeah, even on its smallest setting it just wasn't closing up. So taking it apart just to see if I can shorten this side a bit when it clamps on. So I suppose, for example, I could move this hole a bit over, but there isn't a lot of metal left, and it's definitely not 13mm there. Not that I need 13mm of adjustment, but we could look at maybe getting rid of some of this and take it to a machine shop and get them to chop this down. I'm also wondering if we can do anything with the throw leverage on this. So just trying to figure that out, just to see how I can best reduce the gap, or increase the gap when this is clamped down. Okay, so in the end I took this ring off. It's quite far over. I'm not 100% happy with the fit, obviously, but look, it will do for now. Okay, so that's together. I'm about to try my handiwork. Obviously that's in place. Let's keep the front wheel there. Turbo train is in place. Tablet stand so I can watch telly whilst turbo training. So I'm just going to give this a quick go. So quick test, works well. Probably weirdly slightly better than the 26er I had on there before. Yeah, it's probably the most extreme turbo trainer bike setups ever. Why am I using this bike and not one of the others? I've used full susses on turbo trainers before, and you end up just breaking the linkage. I probably wouldn't use a carbon bike on a turbo trainer because the weight is hung in a weird way, and obviously carbon bikes usually have some sort of compliance added, which assumes the weight's on the wheels. So obviously steel frame. I'd probably recommend going aluminium frame for turbo trainers, to be honest, but yeah, steel should be fine, and yeah, it works. So thank you for watching.